hi, what's up? All right.
I see you got Vivek on your screen, so I figure I'd jump in here and see what you think about this guy.
Trump Jr., you mean?
Think he's got a chance? He's in second place now in some polls.
You know what? I don't actually. You know why? You ready for my incredibly shallow political analysis?
Because he's brown? No, I'm
No.
just kidding.
I think it's because I actually don't think the Republicans would care as much about that. I think it's because he doesn't have snappy comebacks on stage.
He does seem to be a little giggly on stage and kind of overwhelmed by the whole thing. But that
Yeah,
was his first debate ever
it
on there.
was, yeah, and he could improve. But I think an important thing about Trump was actually his banter, because fuck else you can like about him. And I think Vivek actually legitimately, I think he needs to go watch like some insult comics or whatever, and he needs to work on that because he had a lot of snapbacks to other people, and they were all bad. I think if he had a couple that were more memorable, I think he would have performed significantly better. But man, yeah, his endurance too. He got ran into the ground in the last half of that debate. He started off strong, and I was saying like I think this guy seems like he's about to have a breakout performance. It's going to be amazing, and it still was good for him, but nowhere near as good as it could have been. He got ran into the ground by Pence, by Nikki Haley, by Chris Christie. I think it was brutal
Yeah.
at the end for him.
Yeah, Nikki Haley kicked his teeth in with the foreign policy stuff, saying, you have
Um,
no experience, and it shows. And the crowd loved it. They roared.
mhm.
Chris Christie called him a wannabe Obama with the skinny guy
Oh,
with
even
the
worse.
weird
He was like,
name.
"Yeah, the last time a guy came on stage, blah blah blah, was Barack Obama." That was a good one from Chris Christie. Yeah, yeah. He needs to work on his comebacks if he's going to be like an insult comic like Trump wants to be. Yeah.
I think he did well because he was basically substituting for Trump. Since Trump wasn't there, he played the role of Trump that night, and the Trump base kind of fell in love with him. But now that he's moving up to second place, I'm
Hmm.
wondering when Trump's going to turn on him, and you know it's going to get nasty. This guy is Hindu. He took money from George Soros. He's got a also he didn't vote till his 30s. He didn't even vote for Trump in 2016. This guy is weird as hell, man.
You want a bullshit guess from me? I don't think
Want
he's.
a what?
You want a bullshit
Oh,
guess from
guess.
me?
Okay.
I think he's going to continue to do pretty well. I think this is, by the way, incredibly premature. So, anything can happen, obviously. But
Right.
I don't think he can win. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it doesn't seem like it. But I think he's going to continue to do well. I think he's going to divide the field. If him and Trump are polling above 50% collectively and there aren't any other huge standout candidates or whatever, I think he just like concedes and then takes a position in Trump's administration. I think that's like the goal. Because any
I
viewer from
agree.
Vivek right now that drops off voter seems for sure going to go to Trump. That'd be my guess.
I think so too. He doesn't seem to have much of a base, if anything. It's just he's backing up Trump. He claims he's going to pardon Trump on day one, so he's just kissing Trump's ass. But here's the thing, and I'm curious what you think. His star is rising. He's surging, and at some point, Trump's not going to like that. Trump's going to be like, "What's with this freaking guy, man, getting all this attention?" I wonder if he turns on him. That's what I'm thinking. How because it feels like it's out of control right now. He's rising too quickly.
I mean, like these debates, it's arguable whether these debates have literally any influence whatsoever over the votes at the end of the day. I don't think that
True.
off of one debate anything matters, right? Like, look at the last Democratic primary. There were like 5 different candidates who had their time in the sun. Where I think even at one point, I think even Pete Buttigieg looked like he might be a winner. Kamala Harris for sure did after she like almost nuked Biden off stage. Everybody has like their moments in these debates, but how long the longevity is like highly questionable. They usually return to a mean pretty quickly after a week or two. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think Trump shows up for debate number 2, feeling like he missed out this time?
I don't think he will until a couple people drop out. That'd be my guess, or until they make the requirements a bit more stringent. That'd be my guess.
Well, the next debate, you have to have 50,000 donators, and you have to have 3% in a couple of polls. And your mayor just dropped out. How do you feel about that?
Fuck. Which one is my mayor? I should know this.
Francis Suarez, the only Hispanic in the race, man.
He wasn't in the last debate, was he?
Nah, he didn't make the stage. Feels bad.
Oh, I don't think that matters much.
I think there'll be like 2 less people up there on stage because of that 3% requirement. And so now we'll be down to like 6. And then I wonder if Trump feels like getting up there. And plus, Vivek's going to get baited into talking shit on Trump pretty soon.
Will he? He seemed like he towed the line pretty well last time, no?
Yeah, but he keeps getting asked, why you, why you? And he's getting a lot of media attention out. I see you got the Sitch and Adam or whatever State of the Union thing here from CNN, but did you watch the Chuck Todd and Meet the Press interview he did this weekend?
Who?
Chuck Todd Meet the Press.
No,
The NBC.
who are
Oh,
you talking-
Vivek.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it. No, I'm
Vivek's
not.
interview.
No.
I would check that out because Chuck Todd pressed him on some other issues. I thought this was kind of soy what they did on CNN, like the KKK thing. I don't know. I don't care about that.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it. Yeah, hopefully they're not like KKK id poll shit. It's probably not going to play as well, but
Right. I thought it was just cheesy. Now, but the other thing is too is like, who's to say Trump's going to survive? I mean, the trials are looking like they're going to happen next year. And
I thought Georgia really
means
wanted to push for theirs pretty soon, is what I heard.
October 23rd for a couple of people. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was
This
like
year.
polling data to support this. This is just an intuition I have, and I wish I could justify this somehow. But I feel like, you know how people keep saying every time you show a mugshot, it just makes Trump's base love him more and more, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think that this is what I feel like is happening. Every time some new wacky shit happens with Trump, it makes his base love him even more. But I think that base is getting slightly smaller. That's my feeling. So like the true diehard Trump fans are gonna like him every time he runs into shit like this, but there's gonna be fewer and fewer of them every single time it happens. That's my guess, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, it gets weird. It gets more alienating the more cases he stacks up and the more bad stuff comes out. And I think some of these people are going to start flipping. And then it's like, okay, now there's some serious facts out there that are implicating Trump. Plus that obstruction case, the subsequent indictment in the documents case. I mean, the 2020 case is nasty, but that document case is open and shut. And that is happening next year.
Wait,
you know,
when
unless
you
they
said the
can-
documents one, are you talking about the weird thing in New York, or are you talking about in Florida?
Florida.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking,
That's open and shut.
that's fucking wild. But they basically,
oh,
they just
so-
rely on the whataboutism and not understanding like because they go like, well, what about when Biden and Pence had documents? I think even Rob Noor, I think, has played that one up.
Well, the Pence investigation is closed, but they need to close that Biden one. It's been going since January. This guy, Robert Hur, is a special counsel that nobody knows about. But I think he's going to wrap that up, and then he'll come out and say what he found, which will be, I found some phone records from Biden's time as vice president. Who gives a shit? Because there can be anything as classified documents. So right now, the right is running crazy, saying basically Biden had the same stuff Trump had, which is,
which
we don't have
is
any proof of that at all.
Completely absurd, yeah.
But I mean, what I'm saying though, ultimately, is Trump could be found guilty and pending going to prison. Though I don't know if he's going to spend time in prison. They probably put him on house arrest in Mar-a-Lago.
Oof.
But
For the
if that's the
documents
case,
case,
then-
I feel like weren't there a couple of minimum sentencing guidelines for that were prison time?
I don't know if there's minimum. I think the only one that has minimums is the RICO charges
Georgia
in
ones?
Georgia, which is
Okay,
5
maybe.
years. But yeah, but he's facing like 10, 20 years on those documents charges for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, he could be convicted and he could be heading to jail. And so I wonder if the RNC says, dude, we're not going to win if we have a guy that's going to prison. Like, it's just impossible. You know,
I mean,
I
the
think it's going to be a
RNC
blowout.
Yeah, the RNC doesn't want him. That's hard, right? You really
Right.
don't want, if you're a Republican, you don't want Trump anyway. Because if you run a candidate, there's two huge issues, I think. And nobody talked about the second one. I don't know why. Maybe it's not as big an issue as I make it. The first one is that Trump has already lost to Biden, right? So that's already
Yes.
dog shit. Why the fuck would you run the same candidate? Nothing substantial has changed to worsen Biden's image. If anything, I would argue it seems like it's gotten a bit better. We're not in World War III, and
Yep.
all the inflation shit has largely been okay, and the major legislation. So Biden's image, I don't think has gotten worse. And then Trump's image definitely has not gotten better. Now, whether the documents have made it worse or not, right? So running Trump against Biden again seems shitty. And then two, let's say Trump were to win. Now you've got another presidential election you've got to fight for in 4 years. He's a first-term lame duck president because he can't run again, right? Because he's already had, which is also really shitty. Why would you want to, if this was your moment to win a candidate against Biden, you're going to pick a guy who can only be one time in office?
No, you're not going to spend $2 billion to get a guy elected for 4 years. But Trump has an excuse. He has a retort to that. He says, I've already been there, and I only need 6 months. I don't need 8 years. I've got it all figured out. I was advised by shitty people last time. This time, I'll destroy the administrative state, as he calls it, headed by Dr. Fauci and his ilk. But, you know, that's just Trump's nonsense. He says he's going to end the Ukraine war in 24 hours, too.
Yeah.
But I
don't know
agree,
his
like-
plan is for that, but yeah. I mean, like, he's already
Well,
been in office and he didn't do anything. So what are you going to, yeah.
Nah, he's toast. I think the Republicans are screwed. With Trump at the top of the ticket, it's going to drag them down. Then you got characters like George Santos that everybody forgot about, and a bunch of Trump nominees are going to get on the ballot with him. I actually think it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath for the GOP.
Yeah, I mean, their whole party is in a fucking bloodbath right now, right?
It's not looking pretty. Yeah. It's funny to watch them flounder, though. Tell you that much. I wish we could fast forward. And here's the other thing: they're going to try to impeach Biden here. They're coming back into town next week in the
Nah,
House,
no shot.
and they're gonna do it. They don't have the votes, but they're gonna do it because they got nothing else.
When you say they don't have the votes, then what? Somebody's going to do like a motion? Haven't they already done a motion for impeachment or something in the House once? I could be wrong on that. But if they'd, I don't,
No, they've introduced articles of impeachment individually, but none of them have come up for a vote. They've been kicked to committees. Well, they came up for a vote, but they were kicked to committees to disappear. But they can vote on opening an impeachment inquiry. That's what they did with Trump. But they don't have the 218 votes that they need. They don't even have the whole Republican caucus because there's like 16 Republican House members that have to win re-election in Biden districts, and they're screwed. They know they'll get killed. So that's what I mean by they don't have the votes. But if they don't impeach Biden, then they're going to look like he didn't do anything wrong because they've been hysteric about the Biden crime family. Have you been following all that? It's so convoluted and insane with Hunter Biden and all this stuff.
yeah, they like their Hunter Biden stuff. But I mean, has anything new come up, or is it still the same Burisma stuff?
Well, now they have an interview with this general prosecutor that got fired in Ukraine, and he's claiming that millions of dollars went to the Bidens. But of course, he's not under oath, and he's some corrupt shithead over in Ukraine. But they had
Wait, who was the guy? Who was the fucking lawmaker? Was it Giuliani or was it Ted Cruz? Who said that they had talked to somebody and they had recordings and proof of bad Hunter Biden dealings that never came to light? Do you know who I'm talking about? It was a big figure that did this. Was it?
That's in the FD 1023 FBI form of some informant said that there's recordings of Hunter and Joe Biden talking about getting bribes and stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Rand Paul. I thought that there was an actual big politician that came out and said, I heard the recordings and they show.
I haven't heard that.
I feel like I watched this happen on screen. Like I watched a guy say this. Not Rand Paul. I feel like it was like an A-list like Republican. Damn. Okay, I don't remember. James Comer?
I don't.
Okay, never mind,
James
maybe.
Comer is the chairman of the Oversight Committee in the House. It might have been, but I don't recall someone saying that. It's possible. But Ted Cruz also thought a shark was swimming on the 405 freeway recently.
Yeah. Was it Tucker Carlson? Maybe I don't know. Was Tucker Carlson the guy that like? Was it Tucker Carlson or Glenn Beck where they said like 4 years ago they had 100% proof of something, but it got lost in the mail?
Yes, Tucker. He had somebody FedExed. I think it was Hunter Biden's like laptop or something. Like a copy of the drive was FedExed to him, and it got lost.
And then he said he claimed it got lost in the mail.
Evidence of their crimes. Yeah. But the latest was they brought in Hunter Biden's ex-business partner, this guy Devin Archer, probably did blow with Hunter. He was on the board with Burisma, and he said he would know if they got any bribes, and he said under oath that he didn't see any evidence of that. And in fact, that prosecutor was somebody they liked at Burisma, so I guess Biden got paid $5 million to do the exact opposite of what he was supposed to do. So it's just none of it makes any sense at all.
Something that is really frustrating to me that Rod Rosenstein did this beautifully when he was getting grilled by Jim Jordan in front of Congress. I wish people would understand the difference between saying random shit and saying stuff under oath. And I thought that was just the perfect response that Rod Rosenstein gave when Jim Jordan was grilling him. And he was like, what about these reports in the media? And Rod said, listen, if you want to talk to them, bring them under oath and talk to them. But I mean, I'm under oath. They're not. Why am I going to talk about shit that they're saying, basically? And I thought that was a really good point. I wish people would take that with more, because you saw it with like Giuliani, right? The difference between what he said under oath in front of a judge versus what he was claiming on the fucking TV stations was fucking night and day and shit. But yeah, it's very frustrating that people take with so much creative stuff that people just say to the media.
Totally. And now the GOP now is just hinting at things and saying we've got whistleblowers that haven't come forward yet. They're going to testify under oath, but they haven't yet. And, they're playing these games now. They're getting real desperate. But I think it just helps.
Apparently,
Biden
it was
end
Senator
because
Chuck Grassley was the one saying he heard the tapes or something, but now later on it said that they don't exist. Maybe might have been him. People in chat said.
He's been running his mouth from Iowa. Yeah, he also said he found a pigeon on his porch. He posted on Twitter and said somebody come pick it up or something. Like he's not all there.
Okay.
He's also 147 years old. But yeah, that sounds like Chuck Grassley. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, listen, I just wanted to come bug you about politics. People come by my channel all the time. They're like, dude, talk to Destiny. I'm like, I can't go in there, man. It's like Orbiter Spotlight comes out when I go say what's up. So
Yeah, that's how it goes, dude.
What?
When is
Anything
the
else
next,
going on with you?
No, just chilling. When's the next Republican debate?
It's next month. I think the 27th. There'll be a debate every month through the end of the year.
Oh yeah, jeez.
You should come. I'm gonna pressure you now. We had a little panel with Hutch, Erudite, and Dylan,
Uh-huh.
and we talked for about an hour before the debate.
Uh-huh.
I think it would be great if you could come to the next one. No pressure, but I think it would be fun. We had a lot of fun. We had no conservative rightoids, no brain worms. It was just us chatting about what we think's gonna happen.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe, yeah. Before or after, I probably wouldn't mind doing it, yeah.
Yeah, I think you would have fun. You were away on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Anything else?
All right, man. No, I'm not gonna let you say anything else.
Fuck
Gotcha.
yeah.
Fuck you. All right.
All right.
Thanks. Later, bro.
I love you. Bye. Tomorrow, I think my headache will be gone. I feel it.
I think that is and
Sir.
anti-Hispanic racism in this country.
Okay. If Donald Trump was asked this question in this way, say Donald Trump said the same thing.
Where
he was
is
asked this question by
our boy?
the CNN host, where they said, you know, the KKK did all these they raped people, they murdered people. You know, Ayanna hasn't done that. You know, how can you, call her? What do you think
Right.
Trump's response to this would have been?
I have no idea. What do you think?
I think he would have been like, well, it's a very nasty question, Dana. You know, I don't know why you ask me
Maybe
these very
so.
nasty, these very dishonest questions. Okay, everyone knows what I meant when I said this. Okay.
That's probably right. Yeah,
I-
that would have been a
everyone
better
knows.
dodge.
He says, you know, the cake. Do you like the KKK, Dana? I don't like the KKK. But did you know that back then people did? People did like the KKK.
Oh,
Okay.
Stop digging, Trump. Stop digging.
No. See, this is where here. Let's
Trump
say.
endorses the KKK
listen.
is the headline in the New York
Yeah, there you go.
Times.
But that would be perfect for him because he specifically said he didn't. And if they said that, it would be another feather in his cap for fake news. But
No, but it would destroy him.
it
Honestly.
would not. You're wrong. I think you're completely wrong. But so he'd say, I don't like the KKK. But you know that back then people did like the KKK. They were accepted, just like what Ayanna said.
Jesus.
No one criticizes her for being racist. She's accepted, just like the KKK was back then. That's what I meant. Everyone knows that's what I meant, Dana. Why you ask me these very nasty questions?
Right.
He would
be-
completely
That's a
not
good
back
response.
down. He would not back down. He would just attack, and he would call out the person for asking. And this is where Trump shines that I didn't really notice until I watched his interaction. And I want to remember this too. When people ask you gotcha questions, everyone knows it's a gotcha question. Everyone on
Right.
both sides knows it's a gotcha question. And very rarely do people call
You have to
it
equip
out.
the gun they gave you.
Now you can if you just call it out and you don't answer, that's a bad thing. But if you call it out and say without actually even saying gotcha, you just call it out that it's a crappy question and then give
Right.
a good answer. That's like a really powerful
That is powerful.
retort. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're showing everyone I understand what's happening here,
Right.
and I'm calling it out, and it shows that you have cojones.
Right.
So I don't think Vivek gives a good answer to this question. So.
Let's hear it.
What I said is the Grand Wizards of the KKK would be proud of what they would hear her say, because there's nothing more racist than saying that your skin color predicts something about the content
you didn't
of your
just say
viewpoints
that. You
or
didn't
your
just say they
ideas.
would be proud. You said these are the words of the modern Grand Wizards of the modern KKK.
It is the same spirit. You're right about that, Dana. I think it is the same spirit to say that I can look at you and based on just your skin color, that I know something about the content of your character, that I know something about the content of the viewpoints you're allowed to express. For Ayanna Pressley to tell
Okay,
me
that's-
that because of my skin color, I can't express my views, that is wrong. It is divisive.
That
It
is
is driving hate
that
in
is
this
a debate.
country.
So, I think the content of his message is actually really good. I agree with everything he's saying. I just don't think.
Okay. Hold on one second. And then hopefully our buddy will be back. pondering. One second.
Be Trump. He doesn't have that delivery. He doesn't have that method of having the conversation or of replying to people, if that makes sense.
Right. No.
No.
I agree. He looks weak here. Trump would not look weak.
Yeah. But even though I think the answer he gave was great, and it's because it's true. It's completely true. I think it's very racist for her to say if you have brown skin and you respond to questions in specific ways, you're wrong for doing that.
Well, she's already framed the KKK as a domestic terrorist operation with all the rapes
Right.
and lynchings and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's categorically different. He's talking about political speech. She's talking about terrorizing a population. So
Right.
that's a comparison that she's asking him to make. She's saying,
Yes.
look, the KKK were terrorists. Are you saying that a member of Congress is a terrorist? I mean, she's racist, yes.
Right.
But is she a terrorist?
Well, I think that's why you call out the bad faithness of the question, because
Right.
it's like people say things and people are hyperbolic, and you understand and you can understand what they mean. Now you can criticize them for being hyperbolic. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But usually when someone says something, you kind of understand what they're referring to.
Right.
So,
I mean, Trump might even go that far. He might even say something to the effect of, well, they're not committing terrorism now, but they would if they had the power. They
he
would
might.
be killing and raping people.
I think that would be a bad answer, at least from my perspective. I mean, it might be good persuasion wise. I think it'd be bad because I don't think it's true.
She's going to pull out her inner rapist.
Right. But do you think it's fine? Do you agree? Do you think it's right or not right? Unright? Do you think it's right or not right for him to have said that comment in the first place?
Well, the comment was meant to be incendiary and to
Yes.
drive the news cycle.
Yes, that's a good point. Yes.
And right now, Ron
And it was
DeSantis,
successful. And it was very successful.
Yeah, exactly. Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, they're all sitting in front of a TV screen somewhere thinking, God, I wish I had the nerve to say something like that. Right?
Right.
This is the thing about Ramaswamy. I think he is really only in the race as a spoiler candidate. I don't think he's in the race actually to win. I mean, that might change if all of a sudden he's beating Trump in the polls because it's the presidency of the United States, right?
Right.
Like, I don't think this guy would stop if he thought he could actually be president of the United States. But at this point in the game, he doesn't think that's a possibility, which really means I can say anything. I can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that saying and doing anything is getting a lot of attention. So I think the Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, they actually think I could win this. I could be president of the United States. So they see this as throwing their campaign away.
Right.
It's a interesting dynamic. It really is. So.
This is dividing
Okay, that
our
is a
country
debate.
to a breaking point.
That is
and
a
I think we need to
debate
move beyond it.
that is based on nonviolent discussion. That you just said you're using rhetoric, which she
Yes.
said she's using rhetoric. That's one thing, and another thing is to say that she represents and she is a modern version of a KKK, which, as you know, was dedicated to the subjugation and violence against Black people. How on earth is she a modern
Dana,
grand
let's
wizard
be
of
intellectually
that
honest.
kind of organization?
Let's be intellectually honest and get to the heart of what this debate ought to be about. There is a world.
Dana Bash just got totally triggered because he called her dishonest to her face. Did you see her do that little head move?
No,
You're calling
go back.
me dishonest?
Wait, I
Calling
missed that.
me dishonest? She's
Dan,
about to
let's
drop
be
the
elec-
Ramaswamy.
That
honest.
kind of organization.
Let's be intellectually honest and get to the heart of what this debate ought to be about. There is a worldview that
Did
says
you see that? She was like, almost hit me with that
Right.
dishonest comment.
It's like the record in her head skipped.
It did.
Yes.
This mofo just called me dishonest
That's
on
fine.
my own show.
I know.
says that the remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination, that if you're black or brown, you have to have a particular point of view. That's from Ibram Kendi. That's from Ayanna Pressley, the people I quoted in my speech yesterday.
But can
There's
you
a
have
different
an
view
intellectually
that I have, which
honest
says that regardless of
conversation
who you are,
when you
you
accuse
have to be
her
able to
of
have your own
being a
opinion.
grand wizard
Let's
of
have
the
the debate.
KKK? Can you?
Half of what she said is true. Subjugating black people is exactly what they want to do. They want to do it socially. They're not doing it violently, but they are trying to subjugate black people. If you say you can't be a conservative and be black, what are you doing? Of course you're subjugating them.
Yeah.
If you're saying if you're going to be a conservative, we're not even going to include you in the black community. Yes, you're totally subjugating them.
You have that
the
intellectually honest
point is-
discussion.
Well, here's what I would be interested in, and maybe Trump would have responded this way. Be like, Dana, what do you think that question?
I
you think what
see
Ayanna
Destiny
Pressley
is not
said
here,
was
so
racist?
hello,
Do you think that was a
chat.
fine thing for her to say?
Oh, yes, he
Just
does
gonna
that.
wait
He
till
turns
he
it
comes
around on the
back.
reporter.
Yes.
You answer.
You answer the question. Do you think it was racist? Why don't you think you think it's okay to say that black people have the same opinion?
Or if you've been working on your Trump impersonation, it's
No, is
very
it getting
good
better?
now.
Oh,
It
okay,
is.
thank
It's
you.
getting amazing.
Thank you.
I feel like you might be listening to some Trump rallies or something.
Listen, I go to sleep every night listening to Donald Trump. Okay. I listen to
Nice.
Donald Trump ASMR as I drift off to sleep.
I hope that comes up in our conversation with Pondering Politics.
That kind of rhetoric.
And Dana, because the point I'm highlighting is that even the people who, in good spirit, we all agree that the KKK was an awful organization that is a toxic stain in our national history. So given that we can start from that point of agreement, now that allows us to say, well, who actually sounds more like that organization today? The people who are calling for more racial discrimination on the basis of skin color. So yes, I think that is an
But it's not
intellectually
about
useful starting point
sounding
for a provocative discussion
The whole,
that we need to have in this country.
The whole point is
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good answer. I just think the way in which he's saying it is not persuasive.
Right. And she's focused on the physical violence, the
Right.
terrorism.
Right. But you just have to ignore that or slap that down or
Well,
whatever.
I wish he would point that out specifically.
Right.
If he's saying, if you're talking about engaging in physical violence or acts of terrorism, thank goodness they have not gone to those lengths yet. But who knows where this road will lead?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I agree that would be like a good. Well, it would be good as a person running for a Republican candidate. That is a
Right.
persuasive thing. I don't know if it'd be good for like an actual like furthering the conversation in and trying to make the country come together.
It definitely is othering certain people.
Yes. So,
Well, I mean, he's othering
because I mean, like
racists,
pushing
so-
the idea that like the Democrats are gonna round up people in the camps. That's not.
Scott
that's
Adams
conducive.
points that out every live stream. What are
I
you
know he
talking about?
does. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's conducive to trying to build a national unity identity or anything.
Right.
But it would be good,
Elect
you
me
know-
or you're going to be rounded up.
right? But it would be good for a person running for office. So I
Right.
don't know. Maybe Trump would say something like that.
And I think the
KKK
reality,
wasn't
Dana,
just
is
about rhetoric.
we have to speak
They
openly in this
lynched
country.
people. They murdered people. They raped people. They burned their homes.
And that was wrong.
Simply
That was
because
obviously wrong.
So
Wrong.
Okay, so again,
that is obviously a wrong
if you
thing
want to
for
have
them
an
to have done.
intellectual
Absolutely.
discussion, do you think
I think that's a bad answer because it's like obviously we know that Vivek thinks it's wrong. That's why he used the comparison in the first place.
Right.
So,
do you think that maybe comparing her to the Grand Wizard and the notion of what she said to being a modern leader of the KKK was maybe a step too far? Are you
How often does Dana Bash call Trump a fascist?
I have no
Pretty
clue.
sure it's on the reg. So I just
Well,
it-
to be,
it's-
I doubt she's ever used that word specifically.
they say on CNN all the time that Trump praised neo-Nazis.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Neo-Nazis killed people, rounded them up. Do you think Trump praised those people?
I understand. No. I'm saying
There's
that's what I'm
such
saying.
a
She
double
doesn't-
standard here.
I don't think she's ever used the word. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. I'm guessing she hasn't ever used the word specifically fascist.
They are allowed to call Trump a supporter of neo-Nazis
agree.
every day on the network. But
I agree.
oh my God, somebody
I agree.
compared a Democratic congressperson to someone in the KKK. That's too far.
Well, so
You've offended me.
It's funny. I typed in Dana Bash fascist to see what would come up.
Yes.
So 2 days ago, she had a conversation with Bernie Sanders, and she said, third-party candidate Cornel West criticized Bernie Sanders for endorsing President Biden, saying he's fearful of the neo-fascism of Donald Trump.
Right.
So there's probably the closest you're going to get.
Cornel West said that to her?
No, Cornel West said that, and she repeated the comment to Bernie Sanders.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
That's totally. She's called Trump a fascist.
Yes,
I am
agree.
correct. Yes.
I agree. Yes.
So yeah, enough of this.
Okay.
Fainting couch over this is what drives people crazy. This double standard in the news. This complete double standard. She's like losing her mind because Ramaswamy compared a Democratic congressperson to someone in the KKK, but she's allowed to call Trump a neo-fascist all she wants.
Oh, actually,
get the fuck out of here.
I'm surprised. So here's another win for you, Adam.
She's done it again.
He did it again because you know how like Biden made the semi-fascist comment,
right?
It was like last year or something. So she basically defended Biden, saying that the semi-fascist comment, saying that it only applied to Trump supporters, and she asked, I don't know who this is, some Republican guy, if he sees fascism in the Republican Party as like a problem.
Right. Yeah.
So
the fascists who rounded up people and murdered them.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's making a direct comparison. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You say, well, yeah, exactly. It's a good
Why are
point.
you allowed to say it?
It's a great
God,
point.
these people are such giant hypocrites. Hey, we got 15 minutes. We got some $20 super chats, so we need to wrap this up. Do you want it?
Let's finish out. This video's almost done. So
okay.
Stand by what you said.
I stand by what I said to provoke an open and honest discussion in this country, because there is a gap, Dana, between what people will say in private today and what they will say in public. I think we need to close that gap. I think we need to have real, open, honest, raw conversation as Americans. That is our path to national unity. And there are many Americans today who are deeply frustrated by the new culture of anti-racism that's really racism in new clothing. And we need to have that debate in the open. Dana, I think that you're doing, with due respect, what many in the media do, picking on some fringe comment in the context of a broader context that I was offering it in a speech.
All right, so you just said that your comment was fringe.
Let's have the courage to confront the meat of that. I'm saying you drew a fringe comment from a much longer speech. As
like it's basically just like falling apart into debate, bro, on live television with CNN.
We completely unmasked this thing right here.
Yeah.
Dana Bash is a giant hypocrite. She's allowed to call the Republican Party neo-fascists all day long, compare them to murderers, compare them to rapists, compare them to genociders. But Vivek Ramaswamy is not able to do the same thing. It's just, fair is fair.
Right.
Stop calling the Republican Party neo-fascists or shut your effing mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Look, people have to put down the guns. Look, it's so apparent here. It's like, no, we get to shoot you in the face all day long. You shoot us and it's, how dare you? Please stop. Look, I am in favor of both sides putting down the guns. I'm in favor, I don't want Ramaswamy comparing people to the KKK, and I don't want Dana Bash comparing the Republican Party to neo-fascists, okay? Let's just knock that off.
Right.
Let's talk about Republicans and Democrats in a sensible manner, right? Traditionalists and progressives, okay? We don't need all the name calling.
So Joe Scarborough also said when he heard the comments that Biden made about semi-fascists, he criticized them, saying, what's semi about it? It's full-on fascism.
Look, come on, we're running out of time here. I love it. I love it when you're digging into details that are actually proving me right. So I'm super conflicted here. But I just...
We're almost done.
I described you picking one fringe comment from a long speech that I gave to duck debate from the real issue that I think you don't want to have, Dana, because I think you probably agree with me on this, that this is toxic
I think
rhetoric
that this debate,
from leading politicians
I think that this debate
on dividing us on the basis of race, and I want to have the open debate.
I think this debate is fascinating and interesting and opening and important. What I did was
I do too.
Explain to our viewers that you were asked a question and you took it to a point where you called a sitting member of Congress who is black, who was having discussions about race, calling her the modern grand wizard of the KKK. And I'm just not sure how that's open and honest discussion.
You called the entire Republican Party neo-fascist.
Oh, no,
what
no.
a hypocrite.
Trump supporters.
Well, that's a huge portion of the Republican Party, is it not? They
Yes,
voted
I
for
agree.
him. Look, you just called 80 million Americans neo-fascists, and then you want to grab your fainting couch over one sitting congressperson? Look, the discrepancy here is massive. It's just so one-sided. It's insane. It's insane. So people need to call these people out on this nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, I agree if, there should be a ceasefire from the hyperbole on both sides, if that's what you want to push for.
Yeah, that's definitely what I want to push for.
Just be 1005 for $20 says, totally off topic, but in regards to McDonald's prices, there's a website, McCheapest, that shows the cost of Big Macs in different places. The cheapest is in Oklahoma, and the most expensive is in Maine. Or Massachusetts. I don't know what MA is because I'm an idiot. The North, West, and Southwest are more.
Where the fuck is Pondering at?
BMO for $20 says, I know many people who are John Doyle fans, and they push back the idea that he's a white nationalist. What would be the best thing to point to that would possibly sway their opinions? Also, would you be willing to cover him? We covered him very briefly. He had a very terrible video accusing Martin Luther King Jr. of being a secret communist. And we kind of went over... It's like an hour rant, and he had like 50 seconds worth of actual points to make in it. And I think we talked about that at one point. As to like what specific things, there are clips out there where he talks about it. If you could find the clip,
last night's
if you could find the tweet that Vivek was responding